law. What is your silver lining?
Yeah, what gives me hope every day is to see how many of my fellow citizens are committed to doing the right thing and to standing up to the wrongs of this administration. The Justice Department is absolutely in shambles, and we are seeing people walk away from their jobs because of that. But the good news is people are walking away because they don't want to be complicit in the destruction of our constitutional democracy. They don't want to be complicit in the abuse of the powers of the Justice Department. So I commend those public servants who have decided that they're going to quit rather than be used as pawns in Donald Trump's political agenda. There are still civil servants who are trying to hold it down inside the Justice Department as well and are trying to do good work there. And I commend those people too. I think that there are a lot of people who've really just demonstrated integrity by making hard decisions. The decision whether to leave federal service or stay is a hard one to make right now. And people are approaching it with integrity and approaching it from the perspective of how can I help our country most during this time? Is it by leaving that I help, or is it by staying that I help? And it's been encouraging to me to see so many people who are willing to make sacrifices and walk away from their job to uphold what they believe in. It's also been encouraging to me to see how many other people share my concerns about the direction that we are headed and how many people are trying to use whatever platform they have to speak up, use their voice, and try to affect change. It doesn't always feel like a lot, just sharing a message on Instagram might not feel like a lot, or calling your senator and leaving a message saying, please don't do this or please do this might not feel like a lot, but it all adds up. And that is how we make change. It can feel very overwhelming and even paralyzing if you wake up, you read this bad news day after day, and then you feel like, how can we fix this? I don't know how to fix this. But you don't have to fix the whole thing by yourself. And that's what I try to remind myself. You don't have to take it all on at once. Just do a little bit each day. And those changes, with so many of us committed to getting our country back on track, I think are what are going to get us to the other side of this. Don't give up on the small actions that can make change because you're overwhelmed by the bigger picture. I believe that there's strength in numbers and in collective action, and we will get to the other side of this together.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I say that all the time, that like even having a conversation at your dining room table with your parents or with your friends at dinner, you might think like, oh, we don't really like to talk about politics, but this is exactly the time you want to be doing it. You want to start changing the culture from the inside, so we're not as easy to take advantage of. So people are like, well, that's outrageous. What do you mean we can't audit him for the rest of his life or his family? People should know that. And you can say that at dinner, and that's not going to be political. People are going to be like, hold on, what? Like, that is something we should be talking about. Change the culture, change the way people are feeling about him, and then get people registered to vote. I keep saying that, like, don't discount voting. If we do what Hungary did, if we come out at 80%, it doesn't matter how much they've gerrymandered the country. They're not going to be able to overcome that kind of turnout. And that starts with the conversations. It starts with the smaller actions that you're talking about. It doesn't have to be you yourself in the street every day, or, becoming a lawyer at the Justice Department yourself, which, by the way, I believe they're having a lot of trouble finding new staff over there. No one wants to work there anymore, when it used to be a place that everyone wanted to work. But whoever the next attorney general is, they are going to have to rebuild the trust in the Justice Department. They're going to need to be able to clearly communicate the purpose and mission of the DOJ as it pertains to Americans and the needs of Americans and equal justice under the law, so that it becomes not just a catchphrase, but something we actually do. I think that's going to be something that we're going to have to really take in by the end of the next administration, if we get to that point. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Liz. Please tell people how they can follow your work moving forward to keep up with your cases. Your bio says you are hardwired to stand up to bullies. So you are the kind of person that we need to be following at all times.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Lee. I really enjoyed this conversation. I am posting about these issues on social media, including Substack, as well as YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. I'm on all of those platforms as Lawyer Oyer, and you can find me there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all your hard work, Liz, and really keep it up. We need every single one of us doing our part to change the tide here.
Thanks, Lee. I appreciate all you're doing as well, and I really enjoyed this conversation.
So that was Liz Oyer, reminding us that we are dealing with an